Hello, this is GundamUK, and this is something a little bit different. I posted a couple of weeks ago a graphic with Ask Me Anything on it, basically asking anybody to ask me anything. So without further ado, let's dive into some questions. The first from Facebook, so let's take a look at those first. So the first question I have is from Dennis Kern, who is of course the Crow-sama here on YouTube. And his question is, where do you draw your inspiration from? Which is a good question. Probably mostly from my youth, from watching lots of early 90s anime, especially stuff like Appleseed and Patlabor, that kind of thing. Also draw a lot of inspiration from other modelers. I do like to nose through other people's work and get lots of inspiration from that kind of thing, plus new movies and especially sci-fi stuff from the early 80s, that kind of thing. The second question is from the Mokana Man, again here on YouTube, and his question is, which YouTube modeler would you smash, kill and marry? Really? Okay, so the first YouTube modeler I would smash would be the Mokana Man, obviously. Who wouldn't? It'll be crazy. I think he gives really nice hugs. I think he'd definitely be up for some spooning, and I would just like to feel up that wonderful wispy beard. I shouldn't think about that too much. Who would I kill? I wouldn't kill anybody. I'm too nice to kill people. Who would I marry? Definitely will be Tim, also known as the Child of Mecha, because I think it'd be awesome to just kind of meander around him and watch him working away as he makes those flipping incredible models. Maybe bring him a beer, give him a bit of moral encouragement. Plus, I think he makes really good barbecue. Second part of Alan's question is, why is the state of Gundam memes so depressingly poor on social media? Well, I think the state of memes in general on social media is depressingly poor, because there's just absolutely no nuance, humour to it whatsoever. It's generally a poor quality picture with a funny word over the top, and somehow that's funny. I don't know, maybe I'm not getting it, or maybe I'm just getting old, probably the latter. So yeah, I think it's not just Gundam memes, I think it's all memes in general are just getting a little bit poo. Next question, and do forgive me if I pronounce your name wrong, it's from Jan Halas, and his first question is, are you planning to buy or even customise the new Kotobukiya frame arms Genbu kit? I'm planning to buy it, probably, when I can afford it. I'm planning to customise it. I don't know, because I really like the way it looks. I mean, yeah, I'll probably customise it in a way of giving it a nice paint job, possibly some nice masking, that kind of thing. Yeah, I just like the design too much to modify it heavily. The second part of his question is, what do you think about the new Kotobukiya line of model kits, Hexagear? Well, I have one Hexagear kit or figure of sorts. I haven't actually built it yet, but I do like the way they look. Some very nice designs, so I'll be keeping an eye on them. Next question is from a friend of mine, Handran Nadir, and he asks, does Mr. Simon have plans to do a scratch/modified build? Yes, lots of plans, but not lots of action. I have done one scratch built kit, and that was the version Logic, which of course was just a solid cube with loads of guns on it. Modified, I have already done a modified kit, albeit quite in small areas, with the RGM79FM, where I chopped up the back ankles and added some boosters to it. That was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed that actually. So yeah, perhaps something a little bit more modified in future down the line, we will see. But that's a good question, so thank you, buddy. Next question is from Enrico Rezo, who is of course Enrico Asanohoshi. You can find him on YouTube, and if you had not subscribed to him, then why not? Because the man has got some incredible work on show. You really have to have a look. I'll put a link to that below. But Enrico's first question is, what's the biggest challenge for Gunpla modelers in Europe? Well, I think the biggest challenge is getting kits at an affordable price. That's definitely the biggest challenge. Personally, I buy my kits from Japan. I always have done. You should definitely buy your kits from BanzaiHobby. There's a link to them below. They're my favourite retailer, bar none. But there are lots of other places to buy it from. But yeah, again, it's all down to price. It's just very expensive here in Europe. Second part of his question is, what does the community in the UK think about being a part of the GBWC? I think the community, as small as it is, would really love to be a part of the GBWC. I certainly would like to participate in that, but unfortunately the interest just isn't there quite yet. I think we're going to need something quite huge for it to really take off here in this country. And again, we need to have affordable kits, which we don't have. I have heard about the new Gundam movie, so if that's a thing and that becomes popular here, I think that will do a hell of a lot for the hobby here. There's also lots of other kind of new upcoming people doing Gunpla on social networks, so it would be good for them to help promote the hobby. The second part of this question is, do British Gunpla modders discuss the topic, or they don't even mention it? Well, I'm not entirely sure, because I don't talk to that many British Gunpla modders, because there aren't many of us, really. I mean, probably I talk to the most is Darren, my good friend Darren over in the Ipswich land, who is known here as Bearded Builds. You can, I think you can find, yeah, he's a part of Team Helios, so you should check out his stuff. We do quite often talk about British, well, the scene, the Gunpla scene here in the UK, and just how poo it is, and we just moan at each other about how expensive kits are, more or less. But yeah, if there were more of us, there'd be more to discuss. The next question is from Andre Barbosa, and his question is, why is ZZ the best Gundam anime? Because it has the best intro. Let's move on to questions on Instagram. Okay, so the first question on Instagram is most important question ever. Sorry, this question is from Christopher J. Parker on Instagram, and he asks, most important question ever, is Ribbons Almarc Antoine de Saint-Exupéry's character the Little Prince all grown up? And if so, can we get a backstory? Ribbons Almarc from Gundam 00. Do I really want to delve into Gundam lore? Ribbons Almarc Antoine. He was probably born with a silver spoon up his bottom, which probably he was probably fed worms by his parents. He fell over once and grazed his elbow. Made him all bitter and twisted. Gave him a massive inflated ego and sense of superiority, which made him a little prince, and he got slapped about and taught a lesson. I wish that story was funny. Next question is similar to a previous question. It's from True Gunpla. Again, somebody else you have to check out on YouTube and across the social sphere is True Gunpla. Do check him out. His question is, how is the Gunpla community in your local area, and what do you think could be done to improve it if needed? The Gunpla community in my area is non-existent. There probably are people doing it. I think I know of one other guy who lives in my town who does it, but I haven't really advertised the fact locally that I do it. And if there is a scene, there's not a lot of us. We can't seem to get in contact with each other. That would be awesome if we could. So if there's anybody watching who is from Luton in the UK, then do give me a shout. Or probably, I don't know, anybody in Hertfordshire, Bedfordshire, Buckinghamshire, that area, do give me a shout. We need to set something up that's like a local build group or something. Which kind of answers the next part of the question, which is, what do you think could be done to improve it if needed? I think more... I think if I could get out there a bit more, just I guess if the hobby could be more promoted in my area, I guess if more people were sci-fi geeks like me, then perhaps it would improve more. The thing about Luton is it's, how can I put it? The thing about my hometown is it's very much a working family town. Not a lot of people who are into very niche hobbies. There's lots of people doing a lot of work all the time. And yeah, it's just a very busy town. It's hard to find people who have similar interests. So thank you for that question, Mr. True Gunpla. Next question is from Alex the Doof, my friend Alex. Again, another YouTuber. Check him out. And his question is ASL. So my answer to that is 38 male internet. Next question is from Backstepped. What has been your most challenging build? Good question. Most challenging build, probably my most recent Zaku 2 version 1. Challenging in that there are so many seam lines to remove, I nearly gave up. It's the most ridiculously seamliney kit I've done, especially from Bandai. Plus, I spent so long buffing out and getting rid of all these seam lines that by the time I'd giving it a nice paint job, if I shined it in the light, I could still see a sodding seam line. So, yeah, that was definitely a challenge to keep my cool. But yeah, probably that was my most challenging build, is the Zaku 1 Master Grade, which is probably a bit lame, really. Next question is from Joshua Dara. Of course, everybody should know Joshua Dara. He's a GBWC guy. It's like stupendously talented, so you should check out his stuff on Facebook. I think he has a website as well, joshuadara.com. Again, I'll stick links below if I remember to do this. If I don't, then do remind me. And his question is, how do I build in this hobby for as long as you have, and after all that time, still suck? The next question is from B_system, a fellow Team Helios member. Do check his stuff out. His question is, how did you get into Gundams? Good question. Okay, so my first exposure to Gundam was back in 1996, and that was watching the anime Gundam Wing on Toonami. I think everybody who gets into Gundam has watched that at one point. But I wasn't really into the Gunpla side of it back then. I just liked the anime, and it kind of finished and kind of just got lost. Didn't really see it again. I bought a kit from a model store probably when I was 16 or 17. Didn't know what it was. Just built it. Literally, I ripped the parts off of the runner because I really didn't know what I was doing. Stuck it on the shelf and didn't really think about it for a long time. And yeah, kind of faded out from any interest in Gundam all the way up until around 2012, I'm guessing. Around 2012. Yeah, probably. Yeah, 2012. Because I was in a junk shop in Japan with my wife called Hard Off, great name, and there were bunches of these kits just laying around, and they were really cheap, and I thought, oh, they look pretty cool, and I think I picked up what did I get? What was my first kit? It was a Strike Rouge, a HG Strike Rouge, a Zaku 2, the Gundam Seed Zaku 2. Zaku Warrior, I think it's called, and another seed kit. I can't remember what it was called. It was a ridiculous one with a big backpack. But anyway, I picked up these kits, took them home, started snapping them up, and I thought, wow, these are really awesome little things. I love the way they go together. This could be something that I'm interested in. So I went online, had a look at a few other kits, looked at what people were doing, made this massive discovery of the international hobby saw what you could do with Gundams and Gunpla, and thought, yes, this is something I really want to do. So from then on, I just started buying kits, learning how to paint using spray cans, and you can pretty much see how it's gone from there just by looking at my YouTube channel, because it's kind of documented my whole hobby life, as it were, since I started back in 2012. So yeah, that's how I got into Gundam. The next question is from Alex Dadoof again, and it says, do you ever deal with burnout or just general lack of fire to build? What do you do to combat or remedy this if you do anything at all? Burnout, I don't really get burnout because I know when to stop. I have to very much manage my time, obviously working quite a few hours and having a family, spending time with them, that kind of thing. So by managing my time as best as I can, I always give myself a little bit of a break after each project. And you probably noticed this because every now and then my YouTube channel will just not post any videos for like 3 weeks. And in that time, I'm generally playing on my PS4, playing games with my boys, or just generally socialising, spending time with the family, that kind of thing, or doing stuff that's different to how I normally do. So yeah, I don't think I've ever had to really deal with burnout as such, because I don't think I push it to the extremes that other people do. And that's partly to do with the fact that probably I don't enter any competitions. There's no competitions here really to enter. I don't really ever give myself deadlines. I like to just do my work as best I can, and even if I make a mistake on a model kit, I will literally strip the whole thing and start again. I definitely give myself time to pace what I'm doing, just to stop any chance of me losing interest in what I'm doing. So yeah, that's a bit of advice for you there. Just take it easy. Don't push yourself. You really don't have to force yourself into burnout. So, good question. Thank you, Alex. Next question is from newbtype_ here. Have you ever built a kit that you think is good enough for GBWC but didn't enter it? Well, I can't enter GBWC, so it's a bit irrelevant. But if I could enter GBWC, no, is the answer to that question. I don't think I've ever built one that would be good enough to place in a GBWC. Perhaps if it was just UK only, maybe I could place a kit, but I just think I'm at a stage in the hobby now where I've got really good at painting, but I really need to start working on detailing and modification, and that's really the direction I want to go in, because I think I'm pretty good at weathering, but again, it's like, I think I prefer the look of cleaner kits rather than weathered kits, even though I do enjoy weathering. But yeah, good question. Thank you. So, wow, really long question again from Alex. Thank you for these questions. I really do appreciate it. If given the opportunity to reach a large audience on behalf of the mecha, Gunpla or modelling hobby as a whole, what would you say or do in order to appeal or interest the general public to giving this hobby a shot? Oh, it's quite a long question, so I'm going to start with that question there. I think, what would I do if I could reach a large audience? I would say go and buy kits. It's a terrible answer. You wouldn't believe that I work in marketing. I think definitely I would showcase what you can do with Gunpla. Definitely showcase more of the stuff that's in the GBWC. Let people see the potential of what can be done in this hobby, and I guess just kind of document what fun it is just to build a model and its benefits and that kind of thing. I guess there's nothing really I could do personally, but if I could use lots of other people's stuff and lots of other people's material to promote the hobby, to reach a huge audience, I think that would be the best thing. I think it's just seeing the best of what the hobby can offer is probably the best way to go there. Next part of the question is, in your experience, has plastic modelling affected your social life in any way, positive or negative? No, because I don't have a social life, more or less. I'm one of these people who doesn't like going out. The outside scares the shit out of me. I won't be going outside. I'm going outside anytime soon. No, no, it's not affecting my social life at all, I would say. Like I said earlier, I manage my time quite well, so I think, no, it's not really affected me. I mean, it has affected me positively in that I've made some really good friends here in the Gundam community, and that I'm very thankful for. Because I think if I didn't have people to talk to within this hobby, I don't know, it wouldn't be as fun. The community is such a nice place, such awesome people, some complete dickheads who ruin it for everybody, but are equally hilarious. It's every aspect of the community makes it good. Both the good and the bad makes it good. This is quite a typical Jordan Peterson way of looking at things. It's kind of like the richness of the experience of your life gives it meaning. And I think that's pretty much the same thing when it comes to the Gundam community. So, again, good question, Alex. And there's another part of the question. It's, how has this hobby benefited you in a positive manner? Well, it's definitely taught me a lot more patience, that's for sure. I think in my previous creative endeavours, I used to be a musician. It used to really frustrate me that it took so long to do things. It took so long to put together a piece of music. It would take me weeks, and it used to be very frustrating, especially when you've got no inspiration or something's not working, or you've done something for like 3 weeks and then after that decide it's just not going to work, then you end up deleting it. So I think this always benefited my patience in that you can't really get frustrated when you're just building a kit that's in an instruction manual. You just do it. And definitely when you finish a kit, the feeling of finishing it and looking at it and taking pictures and seeing what you did and how you could do it better next time, it's all a part of a larger learning experience, and that's a really good thing. Especially getting feedback from other people, that's another really good thing. So yeah, it's definitely benefited me in quite a lot of ways in a positive manner. In life, I guess, yeah, again, it's made me more patient. It's made me look at things with a bit more detail for some bizarre reason. But then again, that is my job. I'm a graphic designer. I have to look at things in detail. So yeah, good question. Thank you, Alex. And I think that kind of wraps up the questions for Instagram. So I'm just going to go have a look at Twitter. First question on Twitter is from Mick Rawlings. That's at Mick Rawlings. Do you paint the polycaps on smaller kits? No. Next question is from Zeta Gunpla. How do you balance work, Gunpla, and family responsibilities? As a father, I know it can be a struggle, and I'm always curious to glean pointers from others. Time management. Time management is so important. Always plan ahead. Always plan your weeks. Sounds kind of stiff. Sounds kind of like I don't know. Sounds a bit bookish, maybe. Bookish, is that the right word? It sounds like a bit anal. That's a better word for it. But yeah, honestly, use stuff like Google Calendar. Stick to what you want to do with your plans at the beginning of the day. Think to yourself, okay, I'm going to go to work. When I get home tonight, I'm going to have dinner. I'm going to spend an hour playing a game with my kids. Then after that, I'm going to spend 1 hour working on Gunpla. It's all about planning, so you must plan ahead. Especially if you're going to have a day off work, something like that. Tell yourself, I'm going to do Gunpla all day. Don't get distracted. Distractions are the biggest problems with time management. Especially stuff like mobile phones and social media and that kind of thing. Switch off all of your social media when you're doing Gunpla, unless you're filming or something, or listening to a podcast or something. That's fine, but turn off all your social media because this just kills your time. every time. Social media is just the worst for killing quality time doing Gunpla or spending any kind of time with your family whatsoever. So yeah, that's my advice. Stay off social media and plan your days. Plan all the time. It's a good question. Thank you, Zeta Gunpla. Next question is from Brian Denklaw. That's at bro_builder. Considering scratch built work and customizations, how important is it to you that you or another builder holds true to symmetry and precision with the model? Oh, that's a good question. I think that's purely down to taste. The thing is about us humans is we love symmetry. It's a very weird thing. It's kind of inbuilt into our biology, which is why you find celebrities and good-looking people good-looking because they are symmetrical. That's a weird thing to say, but it is true. Personally, I think you can use asymmetry in certain situations. I think it adds another aesthetic dimension to something that you're looking at, obviously. Precision. Again, I think this is all down to taste. I mean, personally, I like symmetry and I like precision in that there's lots of detail that's done well on a model. There's nothing worse than seeing something where there's lots of detail but it's not painted very well or it's not brought out, because I think it's very small, fine details that give the model a sense of scale. So yeah, personally I think precision is quite important. So yeah, good question. Thank you, Brian. Much appreciated. And I think that about wraps up the AMA. So thank you everybody for your questions. I really appreciate that. It's nice to just kind of sit here and talk about stuff for a change. I just want to finish this video by shouting out a friend of mine on Instagram called Balordam. Hope I pronounced that right. Balordam. What a weird way to pronounce it. Basically, she is another UK Gunpla modeler, and I really want to spend more time shouting out fellow UK modelers. So do check out BORLORDAM's Instagram page. I'm going to stick a link to it below. She's also launched a Kickstarter program to help fund her hobby. Do check it out. It is at it's called Gunpla Building and Sharing, and I'll stick a link to it below, where you can pledge a bit of money and get some nice swanky digital wallpapers, some matte prints, and that kind of thing. So yeah, do check it out. I'll stick a link to her page below, and if you're in the UK, do share her stuff, or if you've got something to share in the UK, do let me know. I'm always happy to help promote others in the hobby here in the UK, so check it out. So that's it from me. Thank you for watching, and I will see you again next time. Bye bye.